Activate party mode.
A-firm, party mode engaged.
Hello and welcome to Party Mode, the F1 podcast with no limits. I'm Jethro Bovingdon and I am joined by my good friends Charlie Curtis and Matthew Collins. Now, there are no team orders here, but I did almost have to relinquish my role as host. But luckily, I found a hotel room and Wi-Fi just in case. So in that role, I want to ask the most obvious question possible to start with. Charlie, would you have moved over?
Nope.
No, absolutely not.
Now, when it was happening, they went on the radio in Lando. They asked him if he wanted to pit, and he said he deferred to Oscar. So because of that, I was like, okay, that makes sense. He gave Piastri the option so he could cover off Leclerc. Great team strategy. He didn't think he could pass Max at that point, so he was just like, whatever happens, happens. If for some reason Oscar had undercut him in a natural way, I think he should have given it back because Lando had the option to pit first. Now, I think a pit stop is part of racing, and a bad pit stop is also part of racing. So the fact that happened, I mean, they were saying on the broadcast that I was watching, like, oh, well, if Oscar came in second, it would have happened to him. And I just don't know if that's the case. Like, it just happens. And so I don't think because there was something extra outside of strategy that happened, I don't think he should have given it back, and I certainly wouldn't have given it back.
Matt, you're a reasonable man.
I completely agree. That is a good point. However, the only thing I think about is if it's going to be like that, maybe there needs to be two different pit crews. Like completely. Like they kind of merge the pit crews to do the tire changes, like whoever's best. It seems more fair if they're two completely different teams. So like no one on Lando's side of the garage is touching Oscar's car in that pit stop.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I was glad that he said something over the radio about it and he didn't just give it away. I was glad to see that at least, but yeah, it's a tricky one. I get it, and I don't think I would have done it.
Yeah.
If it was 10-point difference, do you think he would have allowed it? I don't think so.
No.
If it was like
yeah, and if it was for a win and second place, I don't think it'd have done it either. I think in some ways it's pretty smart because it's like, this is going to cost me a couple of points, 3 points, whatever. It's not that a big a deal. But yeah, this can't continue. Like this good-mannered McLaren thing, no matter how much they try and manage it, it can't continue. So we're going to see it spill over. And it would have, I think if Max wasn't disappearing into the distance, maybe it would have spilled over a little bit more on this occasion. But you're right. There's no way just because, firstly, Leclerc, there was a lot of weird decisions, right? Leclerc was never going to undercut Piastri. He didn't have the pace. He was like 29 seconds behind or something. It just wasn't going to happen. So that was a weird decision anyway. But yeah, the suggestion that it could have happened to Piastri if he'd appeared second, it doesn't make any sense to me. So I don't buy that whatsoever.
It's just random. It had nothing to do with the order. It who knows?
Yeah, I agree. So the long and short of it is that Max Verstappen won, Lando came second, reduced the gap to 31 points. But it was there was a lot going on in this race, and it started with qualifying really, didn't it? Because Max from nowhere just pulled it out of the bag as he did. And fair play to Lando, he was struggling hugely and he actually pulled out a pretty good lap too. But I think Max showed again that he's sort of undeniably operating at a different level to everyone, isn't he, when you see him achieve a weekend like this?
Yeah. Did you hear Toto's comments about him?
No.
He said something along the lines of he basically gave everyone a masterclass and embarrassed everyone else.
Yeah.
Everyone across the board, other teams, and something about other teams need to figure out what he's doing because he's the only one that can do it, kind of thing. So I think everyone saw how dominant Max was this weekend. Lando was close in qualifying. I think he was less than a 10th behind. So that's what we want to see. But once the race started, there was that little dicey at first, that first turn, but then Max just ran away with it. It kind of looked like last year.
I have to say the first couple of laps were mega because there was Lando and
fun.
Max out the front, and then there was Leclerc and Piastri behind, and it was like no one seemed to be giving up. Even the McLaren drivers actually drove pretty hard, and you wouldn't have thought that they were worried for their points lead. You know, for Lando, if he retired again, it's game over, right? But he still stuck it out there with Max pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah, no one was willing to give up any positions. Like they were just going for it. Every position mattered. It was a fun race. I'm bummed it was the shortest race ever because it was exciting. But
Ever in the history of races. It's crazy.
Yeah, what was it? An hour and 13 minutes
13
or something
minutes.
like that? Yeah. Crazy. And the fastest, I did write down the speed. What was that? What was the average?
I think like 250.
Yeah, let me
Which is
find
how?
that.
What's that in miles per hour?
It was, okay, so Max set the fastest qualifying lap ever, which was 164.465 miles an hour average. That's pretty nuts, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was very impressive. What were the other big talking points? I guess the Dreamer Ferrari sort of, it looked good for a minute, didn't it there? But it just sort of faded as well.
Kind of, but they were already starting off on the back foot because Lewis had that 5-place grid penalty. So
there was the drama too where he didn't give Leclerc a tow. Everyone was thinking he should have given him a tow in qualifying, and he didn't. And he was asked after, and he was like, "I've never given anyone a tow. I'm not going to do that now." And I needed to make up 5 spots. Like it's kind of it was a weird request that everyone thought that he should have done.
Is that what he said? So he just said he flat out refused to do it.
He's like, "No, I needed to make up 5 spots."
Good. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
But even when Charles was battling up there with Piastri, he looked out of control. Like he looked like he was just on edge. And Oscar was right there, just kept the pressure on, stayed cool, and made it work, made it stick. It just never looked like, even though Charles was up there, he just looked a little chaotic.
Yeah. I think they're just desperate to please, aren't they, at Monza? And they did actually do a pretty good job, and they were fast in a straight line, so it looked like they had a good race pace. But I think DRS was actually set up pretty well because it was powerful enough to get you up there, but it wasn't like you just breeze past people. So the compromise was pretty good. And I guess the point is when you run a low downforce setting, you've got less drag already. So when you do the DRS, it's not as powerful as it otherwise would be on a high downforce thing, high downforce setup or track. But I quite liked that because it gets a bit silly when they just breeze past each other. They were actually having to outbrake each other and actually race
in that first
properly.
turn, it was all outbraking. You'd maybe get like behind them, and there were so many people running off, like cutting over that first corner or having to do the full zigzag runoff, which is just so great to see.
Yeah, it seemed like every overtake was someone outbraking someone else. It wasn't just flying by him on a straight somewhere, which was made it fun.
Yeah.
Well, I in the last couple of days, I did my own Temple of Speed type stuff, and I got disqualified from my class.
What do you mean?
So
Did you bring illegal equipment? What happened?
No, I went. This is the weirdest story, but I went to Bonneville. I've been in Utah, so I was at the Bonneville Salt Flats.
Flats.
Yeah, so land speed record. I don't know what the fastest car ever there. They were doing land speed records back there, 500 plus miles an hour, 600 miles an hour. They can't do it now with the very fastest cars because the salt is shrinking. So anyway, we're doing this road trip sort of video from starting in Bonneville, coming down to Moab, doing off-road stuff in Moab. But we turned up at the Salt Flats and there was actually a race weekend. It was called the World of Speed. So there's like cars trying to set records. It's a wild thing. There's literally Vespers, like little scooters going up the salt at like 95 miles an hour. And then behind them will be a streamliner that looks like a plane with no wings, basically doing 340 or something like the next run. So it's super cool. But we went there, we're in a Bentley SUV of all things. So like a big Bentley Bentayga. We were chatting to them and I was like, can we run? And they were like, yeah, sure. So we entered the car, but you have to conform to certain rules. And because we didn't have a roll cage, even though like this Bentley is brand new. It had done 350 miles when we turned up there, right? And there's cars there that look like metal coffins that have just a homemade V8 engine in the back that can do like 250 miles an hour. So we got through safety, but because we didn't have a cage, we were limited to they call it the 130 club. So I only had a mile of the 5 miles that I could run. And my max speed I could do was 139.9 miles an hour, which I knew this thing would do fairly comfortably. And I also thought that the Speedo would overread fairly comfortably. So my first pass, they made me go through at 100 just to check the calibration. And it was like 99.6 or something on their speed. So it was pretty accurate. But as Speedos go up, right, they get less accurate. That's just the way it works. So I went through, I think I accelerated up to maybe like 150 something, but then through the timing being, I braked and I did it was like 142 on the Speedo. Because my thing was like, oh, the aim is to get to as close to as 139.9. But it turns out that isn't the aim. You've got to be like comfortably really in those limits. So I did a 142 and they got so pissed with me.
Did they?
Just for the 3 miles over they live in.
2.1 miles an hour over the limit. And they were like, I thought it was a joke at first, but they were like not happy bunnies at all. They like sat me down, gave me a big talk into it. We're making a video. I was like, guys, it's 2 miles an hour. Like it's 2 miles an hour. And
did you videotape the whole thing? Like, will it be part of it?
Yeah, we videoed it. So they actually, to be fair, they were lovely guys. They let me back on. And today, so it was like the second day, and they were really helpful with the filming. We interviewed some really cool, gnarly old dudes who've been going there for like 50 years and stuff. And it was fun. But I just couldn't believe, like, I turn up to the fastest place on earth and I get kicked out for going too fast. It's a pretty good achievement, actually.
Yeah,
that is a good achievement.
Yeah,
it's a wild place. It's a super weird place because it's like on the border of Utah and Nevada. So there's a couple of like dodgy casinos just the other side of the border. It's just a weird town because there's nothing really going on but the salt flats and a couple of casinos. So weird vibe, but the salt flats are gorgeous. So it was actually really good fun. And I'd like to try and go fast, but yeah, it's for something that seems so lawless. I was surprised by the rules. There was a lot of rules going on, but pretty cool. Speaking of rules, how on earth did Ollie Behrman get a penalty for Carlos Sainz crashing into him through that corner? How does that work?
Well, I think it was a makeup call from Sainz getting that penalty last week.
It must have been.
It must have been. Like, we can't get this guy again. But it was a bad one. Didn't he get 2 points on his license too?
Now he's at 10 and nothing comes off until Mexico. So he's got 3 races and he can't get any points, and then he has to take time off.
Is it 10 or 12?
12.
12 is when you hit 12, yeah.
I just I can't get my head around that at all. Like and even everyone was like, oh, it's maybe more of a racing incident. But I'm like, I mean, where's Behrman meant to go? Is he meant to just like make his car disappear in a puff of smoke or something? Like it's physically there. There's nothing he can do about it. It just seemed really weird to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, he had no move.
Yeah. I feel like Sainz is having not a midlife crisis, but a mid-Williams life crisis or something. It's not quite there for him. You know what I mean?
We feel bad for Lewis. I feel worse for Sainz because he's not making the money and he's not somewhere glamorous and he's horrible.
I saw this like meme about it was Charles and Lewis were driving after the race, like in front of the fans or whatever. And it was a video of them going slow and kind of waving. And then you see Sainz like trying to sneak his way in there too, like remembering last year. Yeah, like it was just those 3 cars.
I mean, God. To be fair, Williams, they had a nightmare in qualifying, but they were pretty quick in the race. But there's something about Sainz, it never quite falls his way. Do you know what I mean? Albon, even when he's a bit quicker than Albon, somehow Albon's faster in the race or gets better strategy. It just, I feel like he needs, he must be looking forward to the end of the year somehow. It doesn't feel like he's in a good place.
Because they said forever ago they're not improving the car, so they've just been they're just going to go steep downhill at the end of the season for sure.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, yes. Again, it's a bit of a weird season, isn't it? Because Q3, you used to know what would fall in Q3. There was like crappy Q3 cars, if you like, but now that midfield, any one of them can be Q3 one week and Q1 the next, almost.
Yeah.
I mean, Bortoletto did great this weekend.
He's on
amazing.
fire.
And then their other car couldn't even start. So it's like it's all over the place. It just seems like weekend to weekend, even driver to driver within the same team. It's like after the top 4, it could be anyone.
Oh, and Alonso's suspension just blowing up too. Like that was insane to watch. It exploded. But you wonder why that doesn't happen more. When they go over those bumps, their cars are always getting thrown around so much. It's crazy to imagine all those cars not having more issues like that.
Yeah, you just don't see it anymore. You used to, back in the day, you used to see suspension failures a lot. Things would just break, wheels would either fly off or, the suspension would dip on one side. But yeah, it was, I mean, when you see it in slow-mo, it's violent, isn't it? But yeah, it was unusual. And Alonso's doing good at the moment as well. Aston Martin seem like they're on a bit of an upward curve. Okay, so who's it been bad for? I think Yuki, it's just, again, isn't it? It's just not happening.
It's so sad. It's like, what? I don't know.
He's not really in the conversation, which is the scary thing. It's like, for him, as an assumption that he's going to qualify, 10th at best, and then in the race, he's going to fade and not really be very quick. And it's like, at this point, I don't see how he salvages a Red Bull career, or maybe even a Racing Bulls career. I just don't know what's going to happen for him now.
Yeah, and it's the opposite. You had that, like last year, you had a feeling that he would not qualify so great because they had a very average car, but he would always make up some positions during the race. And now it's like, not only is he not going to qualify that high, like maybe not even get out of Q2, but he's going to fall during the race. Like he's not making up any spots. So it's tricky, especially when Max comes in and dominates on a weekend. That's got to make it even harder.
Yeah, and even when Hadjar starts from like the pit lane, he ends up finishing in the points in 10th, and you're just like, it's a done deal, isn't it? I mean, Hadjar's going to Red Bull, and he's just got to hope that this cursed second seat is going to be broken when he arrives and does his thing. He just seems... It's weird, isn't it? Do you remember before there was like, all those rookies were in F2 last year? So Antonelli, Behrman, Hadjar, and Bortoletto. Bortoletto came first. Hadjar was second. And then Behrman and Antonelli were sort of nowhere, but they already had their F1 seats guaranteed. All the experts were saying, well, F2 form doesn't actually mean anything. And now you look at the F2 form and, Bortoletto is absolutely flying, and Hadjar has been way more impressive than Antonelli and probably Behrman too, because Behrman's so up and down. So maybe we were all wrong. And I think Bortoletto looks like a little star of the future, really, doesn't he?
Yeah. And he's not in a quick car. I mean, I guess they're okay, but it seems like he's getting the most out of that car that he can.
Yeah. And how cool is it that literally every weekend you're racing against probably your mentor and your manager, and you're in the same field as him. You're always within 3 cars battling. I just think it's the cool, like their debriefs would be awesome, because he would be going in and being like, yeah, I was behind you and I watched you do this and you shouldn't do that. Like, it's weird that he's completely actually helping his competitor.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Do you think he ever thinks, when he's behind Alonso, do you ever think he thinks, oh man, I wish it wasn't him, so I could just have because he's not going to just send it up the inside or do something dodgy with it. I guess it's good for his racecraft, but I'm sure on occasion he thinks, just like anyone but Alonso ahead of me would be a good deal.
Yeah. And it's both, because he's like his mentor and idol and all of that, but also he's not going to give up. Alonso's just as crazy. Yeah. Like, he's not giving up anything, especially to him, to Bortoletto.
Yeah.
So
I feel like Alonso would also, if he really got dove in on, but in a good, proper way and got beat, I think Alonso would definitely give him props after. I don't feel
Yeah.
like he'd be an asshole.
Yeah, I
I
think
think
you're
it'd
right.
be
He'd be
good.
proud, wouldn't he? He'd be
Yeah,
proud.
he'd be like, fuck you, you little fucker, but that was awesome. Yeah.
Okay, well, apart from all this McLaren stuff, I mean, well, where do you think they're at now? Because Lando was quicker over the weekend. There's no doubt about that. He did the job. Max got in his way, but it doesn't really change the picture, really, does it? Oscar delivers in the race. Lando did a good job, but he's not. If he can't beat Max, he's not going to make enough points up quick enough, basically.
It's only a DNF for Oscar.
I was excited to see Red Bull looking fast again because it's just one more car up there to kind of mix it up a little bit. But yeah, I mean, we talk about it every week that the team orders are just go ahead and race and settle it on the track. But this was the first time that wasn't the case.
Do you think there is a narrative? And I actually get it. I don't necessarily agree with it, but that Lando is actually the favoured son, and McLaren, even though they're not like overtly doing anything, if there's a 50-50, they're going to come down on the side of Lando. Do you buy into that?
I do. And he's been there longer. It's not outrageous. And I think we'd see it more if Oscar wasn't doing so well, for sure. But I think they're being so heavily scrutinized for this little inter-team rivalry that they can't show that much favoritism to Lando. But I do think he's probably, like you said, on those 50-50 calls, he's going to get it. It's not a coin flip.
Yeah, what do you think? Because I mean, there's a lot of accusations that like Zach Brown always looks much happier when Lando wins. I don't really know the truth, but what do you think, Matt? Do you think Lando's the guy for them?
I think so. And I think that there's probably got to be some marketing numbers behind that. I think they know who's selling more shirts, hats, whatever, who's getting more clicks and bringing more money into their brand. And it's probably Lando because, you know what I mean? He's that little young kind of playboy. He loves doing the social media more. Oscar's just kind of like, I'd rather hang out with Oscar personally, but I think he's kind of like the boy band kid that is marketable. And I think that's why they favor him.
And he has stuck with them. I mean, there were times when it's hard to believe now, but McLaren were literally the worst team on the grid for a little, or had the worst car, let's put it that way, on the grid. And Lando didn't abandon them. So there's something to be said for that. They must be pretty, happy that he was so loyal to them in those days. Yeah, I don't really know the truth. I don't think it actually matters. They're definitely preparing the cars equally, as far as everyone can see. In qualifying, it's so close. There's no way they're favoring anyone. So it's whether there's going to be these marginal calls, but the marginal calls aren't going to mean that much unless, like you say, Oscar has a DNF or has a weekend where he just goes completely missing, but he just doesn't look like it's going to happen, really.
Yeah, I think that'll be the last time either of them gives up a spot.
Yeah, that could be it.
I think that was it, and it kind of brought everything out because it was a racing incident. I mean, that's part of racing, is that pit stop. It wasn't anything strategy based, and so I think even just that little pushback from Oscar over the radio was like, I thought we said pit stops were part of racing, so I don't get it, but I'll do it. I think that was kind of like I'll do it this one time, but that's it.
I mean, Max literally cracked up about the whole thing, didn't he?
They said Piastri and Norris switched spots, and he like laughed and said, because of a bad pit stop.
I thought it was great.
But it's crazy. I think that the team probably also would like them to be closer just because it is better TV. You know, if they can just stay within like 20 at least, we're all like, something could happen here. But right now it's like, well, Oscar won the championship.
Yeah, I think it's good for everyone, isn't it? And I think you're right, though. If we can get Max up there a bit more to stir the pot, that to me that brings a lot more jeopardy in, because Max he's a wild card, got nothing to lose effectively. And I don't think, even though I think he's probably better mates with Lando, there's no way Max is giving anyone an inch. So there could easily be contact. If Max is in the top 3 qualifying at Baku, first or second, in between the McLarens, whatever, there's always room for that drama. So I think it's better for the show. But as it was, he won by 20 seconds? He just disappeared up the road,
It's like,
didn't he?
yeah, it was crazy.
It was like the old days.
Very clean.
It was cool. It's a cool race. Okay. There's probably not that much more to discuss. There was those early laps. There was the team orders, but the rest of it was pretty straightforward, wasn't it? Really.
Yeah.
No safety cars.
Yeah, no safety cars. They just
almost had one, but then Alonso brought it in. That would have been interesting if it was an actual
that could have been
car.
good. Yeah.
And Max knew it too. He was like, please. And he said it in the debriefing room too. And it was just like, how do you see all this? Like, he just knows. He's like, yeah. When Alonso was like that, I was like, Alonso wasn't close to you. Like, you knew.
I was thinking that too when he laughed about them swapping positions. Not even 10 seconds later after they swapped position, and he knew that it happened.
I mean, they show stuff on the big screens, but he's so tuned into it. It's almost like he's got the commentary on in his ear, isn't it?
He probably does. He has one of those American Express earpieces that you put in your ear. He's like, I need to know what's happening.
He's listening to Brundle and co about what's going on the track. Yeah, it's very cool, I have to say. I think it's a bit of a weird one, isn't it? Because it doesn't tarnish their world championship, but whichever McLaren driver wins, if there's a vote amongst fans, other team members, team principals at the end of the year was like, who was the best driver of the year? Then Max wins it sort of hands down, doesn't he? Regardless of who gets crowned champion. He's just, he just operates on a different level at the moment.
Yeah, 100%.
He is the man. Okay, well, that's the Italian Grand Prix from Monza. P10, I was so close. Can't believe it. So
really close.
So I said P1 for Max,
Got it.
and P10 for Antonelli. So I was one spot out, and it wasn't much, was it? It was a few. It was quite close, I think.
It was so close,
and he was sat in 10th for most of the race.
So long.
Yeah, still not quite happening for Antonelli.
That's not what you want, though. You don't want the guy that's been there for 50 laps.
You're right.
He's never gonna stay.
I know. There's always a little sting in the tail with P10.
There's something there. Yep.
It's difficult. But oh well, next time it'll happen. Okay, what about pulp, Matt? Any good pulp?
So I heard, I don't know a lot about it, but I heard Alonso is creating a massive dog sanctuary called Dogtopia out near Alpine. Like, he's got hectares and hectares of land that he, I think, is doing like a dog rescue or something, and has big investors. I tried to look at
You sure it's not dog racing?
Are you just making this stuff up now?
It sounds like it. I know. And I tried to. I asked ChatGPT after, because I saw it. It was a video, and I think I forgot to save it. Someone it was a news thing out of Spain that was explaining it, and then I was like, "What is this?" And Dogtopia is a dog care, daycare brand in the US, what I found out. But this is a different thing. And ChatGPT didn't know it. It was like, it might be in the Alps or near something, because it just read Alpine and it didn't know what Alpine was. But when I heard it, I did hear that it was near Alpine, the property that he bought. Just a charity thing. Good for him.
That's incredible.
I love it.
Not out of the question.
That is
not out of the question.
But cool.
Yeah. So also, did you guys notice in the cool down room when you go there, you saw Max, he kind of looks at the wall and starts staring at it. And I was too, because it looked like it had all the previous race winners of Monza and their times all over the wall, done beautifully. And it looks like it was painted on perfectly. And then it says congratulations to the winner, Max Verstappen. And it took me so long to be like, so what? Was this a board and they had everyone's name and then they brought it in? How did they get his name there? So much so, I thought I was maybe the only one. And then I saw a TikTok because someone had to do the explanation. And then there was video of the guy with a sticker that he put on and pressed it on. Because everyone was just like, how does this happen? And you could see he was like, how did this get up there? It was pretty funny to just watch him keep going like this and didn't understand what was going on.
Yeah,
breaking news.
Maybe he just assumes that they're going to put him up as the winner on every race. I think that's Max's attitude, isn't it? So
I bet they put it up there, and then it's we might have to take this off, but we probably won't.
Yeah,
we'll just go.
There's a good chance.
Yeah.
And last thing, apparently Max is racing at the Nuremberg this weekend in an endurance race.
Oh, he is.
Which is wild. Like, hockey players aren't even allowed to go skiing. Like, in their contract, there's like, they were not allowed to do things. It seems crazy that they're
So is
letting
that
the best driver in the
confirmed?
world. Yeah.
Wow.
I looked up multiple news
cool.
sources, and multiple news sources are saying it. And
That's
I was like, is this a sim race? And no, he's
Getting
doing
in the car and doing it. Jeez.
He's
probably
doing
one
it.
stint maybe or something. I don't know, but like, it seems a wild
Well,
thing.
no, because he'll
to let
be
him do.
qualifying, so he'll want to qualify. This sounds absurd because he's the best driver in the world, but he will have to qualify. You have to get your licenses and stuff at the Nürburgring. So to do the 24-hour race, maybe he'll have to do a couple of VLNs first, or I think it's the NLS series now, which are 5 or 6 hour races.
It's the NLS that he's doing.
Yeah. That's cool. Back in the day, this is what F1 drivers did because they didn't earn that much money in the early days, 50s, 60s, even 70s. So they would be like racing in Formula One over the weekend. They might do a Formula 2 race over the same weekend. Then they'd fly home to, say, the UK and then do like a touring car race, like with saloon cars. Then they might go to America and do like a Le Mans style sports car series. Like, this is how they did it. They were just people trying to earn a living. They got paid pretty well, the very best of them, but they were just jumping around. But it just doesn't happen anymore. I'm just trying to think the last F1 driver who would have stepped out of F1. It would have been Alonso when he went and did Indy. Hulkenberg went to Le Mans and won it.
I always forget that he went and did Indy. How did he do it, Indy?
Alonso, he's done it twice. The first year he did brilliantly, and there was a strong possibility he might actually win. And I think everyone was a little bit blown away by how well he did. I think maybe the car, I'd have to look it up. I don't know that off the top of my head. Maybe the car failed or something, but in qualifying, he was like a real threat for pole and he was like very, very quick. And I think everyone was pretty blown away. Second year, it didn't go so well. I don't think the car was quite as good. It didn't have the right engine for that year. And yeah, Hulkenberg went to Le Mans and won Le Mans when he was during an active F1 season, which was super cool. But it just, you don't see it anymore. But I think that's A, really ballsy, and B, really cool. And imagine the people racing there, because there's a lot of amateur drivers still on that series. There's pros, but there's also amateurs. And they're going to have a race entry list with their name on it and Max Verstappen's. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that is
everyone's saving that timesheet and framing it for sure.
Yeah, I would be very, very happy about that. Okay, well, it feels like a shorter episode. Have we got anything else to discuss?
I've got one thing, since I have to be our resident fact checker, and I called Matt out for the AI. So Jethro, it's your turn.
Oh, no.
I checked the 2026 schedule, and Zandvoort was on there.
Is it?
Yeah, Zandvoort's staying, yeah.
That's not right, is it? I thought it was gone.
Well, I know you thought it was gone. That's why I brought it up.
Are you sure it's not going to be gone after 2026 then? I don't think it is. I'm going to look this up. I'm surprised by that. Oh, there you go. Formula One to celebrate final Dutch Grand Prix in 2026. So I was wrong, but I was half right.
Really? So it's next year's the last year?
It's the last year. We will dig further into that story with time to come. But yes, it is going to be there next year, so that's good. I'm happy about that. But
I wonder if they're just like redoing the whole track and they just need like a year or two and then they're coming back.
Hopefully they will. But you know, F1, they chase the money, don't they? And if they can get a track in a new country, they don't care so much for tradition when they're just looking at the bottom line, basically. Yeah,
let's go to South Africa.
And also, Jethro, cool. you're stateside now, but I felt like I was in your hometown this weekend. I went to the Oasis concert.
Oh, did you?
I think every single person in there was British.
That's so
anyone
funny.
talking, it was like everyone. I couldn't understand the guy. He's from Manchester, I believe.
Yeah,
craziest accent. I needed subtitles when he was talking.
Well, yeah. So how did you get that? Because that's such a hot ticket, isn't it? People are like going crazy and traveling from all. When I was recently in London, there was loads of Americans over, funnily enough, who'd flown over to go to the Oasis
Yeah.
stuff. So it's funny that the same was true over there.
Yeah. I had a buddy, actually the guy that I organized the watch parties with, Justin. He had tickets, and with him and his wife and another couple, another one bailed, and he's like, "Hey, I know it's last minute, but if you guys want to go to this concert," and we're like, "Yeah, let's do it."
How was it? Was it cool?
It was awesome. It was so awesome.
They are extremely good live.
So good. They sounded great. They did a whole little shtick, like holding hands as they walked out, but that's it.
Are you
but it
like
was,
were
it was
you
really
were
good.
you into them? Do you know any of that? Do you know the songs and stuff?
I knew, so they did I knew the big ones.
Yeah, like Wonderwall and all that stuff.
Yeah, and they played those as part of the encore. So we stayed
Yeah.
to the very, very, very end. But the first part of the show, I maybe knew one or two. So there were a lot that I'd never even heard.
Yeah.
But it was
Yeah.
good. I liked it. I mean, they sounded great. It was fun. And the
Yeah, I
weather
didn't
it was
know.
like hot out, and it was at the Rose Bowl. It was packed. It was cool.
Yeah, you never know. I didn't know how well or how far they'd traveled, because break in the US is always a big deal for the UK. So I didn't know how big all that Britpop stuff had got in the US. But yeah, Oasis is pretty cool.
Did you get merch? Their merch
Oh,
looked
it's
cool.
The merch was really cool. We tried a couple different places, but the line was insane, and I'm like, we can't.
Yeah, one of my friends of mine ran like the merch store in Toronto, because I guess wherever they go, they rent out a whole store and do a merch thing. And she just showed videos of like everything getting completely sold out and restocked nonstop. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh man, these guys are making so much money just off their merch. Crazy. And it was all cool. Like they had like big Adidas collabs with like the old school Adidas tracksuits and like pre-framed epic
Bucket
vintage
hats.
Oasis posters.
On.
Everyone wore a bucket hat at these concerts. So fun. Good for them.
I think they did it just right because they've resisted for so long and they fell out and they've like had this drama for so long, but they probably timed it perfectly to come back.
Man.
Coin in all the merchandise and all the tickets. It's like, it feels like the perfect moment for the Oasis reunion. So they chose very wisely.
I hope it was a long bit and that they're like dying biography. They're like, yeah, we were always cool. We just were like, we know how to do this. Let's do 20, 30 years of getting the world.
I mean,
then we'll live on our farm, hang out.
If they were still together all these years, I don't know that I would have gone. Like, it was, it's crowded. It's a pain to get in and out of the Rose Bowl. Like, I wouldn't have been as intrigued. But the fact that it was like this reunion tour, the first and last in the last, 15 years or whatever, I was like, oh, I have to go. This is like the biggest thing. And so I'm sure, yeah, there's definitely someone, if it wasn't them, someone approached them and said, you guys, this is prime to take advantage of this little rivalry.
Yeah, no matter how much you hate each other, there's going to be many millions of dollars on the table, so you should do it. No, I think I liked Oasis at the time, but I guess I was more into like all the house music and going out to the clubs at that time, so like that scene wasn't quite so much my thing. But I would like to go and see Oasis. They are superb live. They really are. They're good. And they're cool guys. I think Noel Gallagher's funny. Liam Gallagher just seems incredibly annoying, but also quite funny in his own way. Okay, well, I'm going to go. I'm going off-roading in Moab tomorrow morning, which I'm very excited about.
Amazing.
Have you been? It's so gorgeous.
No.
It's so gorgeous. We can talk about it next week. And also might be able to talk about a car that I recently drove with a Formula One engine. So let's save that till next week. Until then, remember, party mode is not just for Q3, it's a way of life. So until next time, keep it pinned.
See ya.